he grabs Percy's hand, and he says, "Listen, whatever it is, the first drink you buy is on the house." And you think that he would wink, but I think he's a little too stunned right now to attempt it.
What's the most expensive alcohol on the list?
Ooh.
The most expensive alcohol. This very common but very like highly expensive. It's a brand of dwarven whiskey, and it's like this highly purified like stuff. And he's got barrels of it, but it's like he probably has barrels of it because no one ever buys it because it's like insanely expensive. It's like 40 gold pieces for a shot of it.
Ooh.
And then the most expensive thing on the kids menu is a Mountain Dew, which is 20 gold.
Wow.
What's the name of it?
Yeah, you know what? It's called Broomcha. Spelled like with an umlaut. Oh crap. Yeah, Percy knows the name. He says it out loud.
A bottle of Broomcha.
Jesus.
All right, Trafford he looks nervous, but he's a man of his word. And he sort of uncorks one of the spigots, and he sort of starts pouring a shot glass full of it. And he sort of walks back over to Percy and says, "All right, listen, this stuff is gonna taste a lot better than you'd think, and it's gonna hit you twice as hard. So be ready." And he hands Percy the glass.
He's gonna put it down on the table, grab his mechanical arm, open up a slot, take out a small flask, and just drink that.
Okay.
And then he's gonna pour it into the flask and put it back in his arm. Look, I like to get drunk, man, but I'm not getting drunk while in a public area with my daughter and my wife.
He sort of nods and says, respectable. Anything for you? And he points to Undell.
Undell's just gonna say nothing and just stare at him with the whole, like, how it's like,
Yeah.
How dare my husband wink at you?
He says, all right, how about you? And he sort of like does like an awkward point between the two of them, like at you, but they sort of like back away to know that he's pointing at you.
Lazy will step forward and take an earbud out.
Oh, you just been bopping to tunes the whole time?
She doesn't know what's going on, so
yeah,
that's the only thing she would do. Excuse me?
She says, "What do you want to drink, honey?" And he points to the kids menu where there's all sorts of sodas listed out with various prices.
You got raspberry tea or something?
She says, "Tea?" He says, "Tea? Crap." And he sort of like, he folds through and he sorts through like a weird barrel. And he says, "We usually keep the tea menu for people who like ask for it. So here you go." And he sort of like holds it up. He says, "Actually, wait, you already asked." He sort of looks, like, takes it back and looks at it. He goes, I can put like a shot of raspberry in tea that I just make. Do you want that?"
Sure, that sounds nice.
All right, I'll get on it. And he sort of gets down and he starts looking at it. In sort of the midst of the tavern, you hear a lot of laughing coming from the two tables of the teenagers. Like, they're having a good time.
She doesn't even like glance back.
Yeah, just like I'm just saying, like they're not like, they haven't even noticed you or anything, but just like that's going on in betwixt as Trapper gets quiet. Meanwhile, back in the Magical Menagerie. Oh yeah, crap! I should get the freaking Batman sound effect. Okay, yeah. Like you, Julian. Describe what you're doing, but yeah.
Yeah, you go first, man.
Leku is just gonna open up his pocket and like try and figure out how much money he has, and just really can't decide what the fuck he's doing. I'm just walking back to the owls and looking at all of them, not very happy with any of them.
I'm gonna test this real quick.
I'm Batman.
Alright, awesome.
God damn it.
Alright, so you're sort of pacing back and forth, not really sure what to buy. there's a lot of crazy stuff in this shop. Like, almost everything is in suspended bird cages. Like, nothing is really on the ground except for a few that are on tables. There's like golden snails that leave like rainbow trails of like slime behind them as they're sort of swimming around and they're looking around. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I did not plan that. You see that there are like dogs in some of the cages, like that are suspended, but they're like full-size dogs in cages, just sort of barking around at each other. There's like hamsters. There's like all these crazy different animals just running around. There's like frogs. There's like little terrariums. There are even some fish that are in bird cages, but the water just seems to not be flowing through the obvious gaps in the metal, and they're just sort of swimming around.
Place surely likes its bird cage. Huh. And I'm just gonna, like, is old Miss Middle still just blabbing on about whatever?
She's gone on for another solid 10 minutes, still just talking about the cages, not actually talking about the owl you asked about, just going off about how cool some of the magic cages are here.
Should I say how much a magic cage is? Like, are they expensive?
She says, "Oh, well, dearie, I mean, we don't sell them technically. I mean, everything has its price, but I think it might be a little bit above just a teenager. Not any insults. I'm just saying, dearie, that it might be a little bit out of your price range."
Yeah, he still has just an innocent smile as he's listening to her. Like, just the insult of that going completely over his head.
Like, he slowly sneaks up the stairs.
Yeah, the cat, like, as soon as you walk up the stairs, the cat just, like, notices you, just instantly starts staring at you.
I give it a little wave.
The cat meows, and it then begins sort of, like, very curiously poking around its cage as if trying to look for a way out.
I look over the balcony and see if old Miss Miller is still just blabbering on.
She's still just talking to him, just, like, crazy.
Hey, little guy. I prick my finger through a hole in the bird cage.
Make an animal handling check.
Oh, please don't fail it.
So, as you sort of put your hand up to, like, inch into the cage, the cat instinctively, like, backs away. But as you sort of gently, like, make little, like, cuckoo noises and, like, start, like, trying to, like, calm it down, the cat comes forward and lets you sort of stroke it as you stick your finger in.
Boy.
You could probably stick a whole hand through the bars of the cage.
I give it a little... I probably get my hand in just and, like, give it a little scratch under the chin.
The cat very much takes a liking to you. It's something about just like it feels like you feel like a certain kinship with it. It's just sort of like it's taken it like sort of like strokes around, like arches its back and like lets it like strokes its tail around your hand.
Adorable, don't you? I hear you like your escaping cages.
You look down at the lock on the cage and you see that like it's heavily chewed. And that there might be something wrong with the tumblers, as like bits of it are like gnawed on to the point where they don't really work anymore. Like you don't think this cage is even actually locked. You could probably just swing it open.
I try and open the door, I guess.
All right, so like you just open the latch, and then the door is open, and then the cat like looks at you for a second, almost like as confused as a cat can look, and then it jumps onto the arm that you sort of open the door with, and sort of crawls up your arm onto your shoulders again.
Using my long sleeves as
yeah, your sort of wizard sleeves as like little runarounds.
Like he doesn't have like long his sleeves that overflow over his hand, like cover his hand.
like
Yeah.
like number 3 from Kids Next Door, if anyone understands that.
Kinda, I guess. I don't really know how.
Julian, are you still listening to this lady?
I probably at this point got out my fucking wallet and eventually paid her, agreeing to take the owl.
She takes the money and like gestures over to the owl, but she doesn't stop talking. She's still talking about the cages and like, oh, it was quite a trip to go get the cages. I really stuck my neck out for these, but I just, and she like just goes on like.
Is that so? That's really fascinating.
And
That's,
she pulls out a wand out of her robe, still talking, and she sort of waves it in the air like a little swish around her head. And then the cage and the owl both, if I can be cool with tokens,
explode.
Yeah, they just.
Wrong spell.
You interrupted
Go
her
owl
while
now.
you came.
And then the owl and the cage both fly over, and then she waves the wand again, and then the door of the cage opens, and the owl sort of like instinctively comes over to the door to like get out, and she reaches under the table. She snaps with her other hand, and another like a regular sized like silver bird cage comes up, and then she holds it up to the other bird cage, and the owl sort of like instinctively like, looks around, looks at you, looks at her, and then like hops into that cage. And then she goes to the door on that with a wave of her wand, and then she sets that cage down, and then she snaps her fingers, and the other cage goes back. And then she puts that cage on the table, and she sort of offers her hand for like the gold.
I place it. Is he okay without a cage? Like, is he trained in any way?
She sort of like you sort of interrupt her with that question. She sort of like is taken aback by like you interrupting her, and she says, "Oh, are you good with birds? Are you sort of like, are you gonna get scared if he flies at you, or?"
No, not at all. I shouldn't. This is on fire.
She says, "Oh, he doesn't catch on fire. We do have flaming birds if you want one of those, but no, he'll be just fine. So, yes, he's good to fly around. If he runs away, I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying that in that case, you can come back here, you can show me the proof of purchase, the cage will suffice,
Okay.
and then I can do a summoning spell, and I can get him back, and then we'll run through how that will go down."
Huh. Well, can I open his cage?
Yeah. So you let him out. He sort of flutters. He sort of looks at you for a moment. Make an animal handling check.
Yeah. So do I
He
need
flies
my wand
away.
to cast my spells since I'm a bard? Like, do I need an arcane focus, or do I just use my instruments or voice to do
You
that?
use your instrument. You sing like you just like
Yeah, can I
whatever
just
your
like
style is.
whistle at him and cast animal friendship on him? Because I have animal friendship as a spell.
So yeah. Do you have a morsel of food on you?
I would assume so. I have rations.
Yeah,
So-
just like crackers or like especially because you're such an animal guru.
Yeah, I probably got some weird nibble,
Yeah,
especially
so
for
you
birds.
pop it out. Yeah, you just sort of whistle, and the bird is just like so into you. I would still like you to make an animal handling.
Yeah, I'll grab one of them.
Ooh, okay, yeah. The owl sort of is not having it, and then you cast the spell, and then the owl is just like so on board with like Julian, and it sort of hops
Just
up. on your arm.
whatever.
I'd like to think he
you see, this thing
accidentally
is
casts
not,
these
like-
spells. Like he thinks he's so good with birds, but he's just accidentally casting these spells to make
Does
it better.
Julian not know that he just cast animal friendship?
Pretty much.
I love that. That's such a good idea for a spellcast. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Julian just sort of like whistles, and the bird is just like so on board, and it's got like this impressive wingspan. It like flaps its wings. It flies out of the cage and then onto your arm or your shoulder, whatever you want, and it sort of flaps there and sits there. And it sort of nibbles at your hair for a second, but it's just chilling. It's hanging out.
Nice. I make
And
sure
she
it's
says,
not close to my ears.
boy, he really likes you. Yeah. Would you like to buy some food for him so he doesn't starve?
I nod rapidly.
She says, all right, I'll get it for you. And she sort of like goes around into the back. She's sort of gone for a second. Lecky, are you doing anything at this time?
Question: does Freckles stay on my shoulders?
Do you walk away from the cages as soon as Freckles gets on your shoulder?
Yeah, I start walking down and towards the
Freckles,
stairs.
like the cat makes a move to jump onto the other cages, but as soon as you move away, it like stops so it doesn't like just not make the jump, and it sort of stays on you. It seems disappointed by this, but it's like in for the ride essentially as you sort of walk down.
Sorry, little buddy, I didn't notice you were gonna do that.
Also, at this
start
point,
walking.
Julian, you see the girl from earlier walks up, and she has a cage in her hand, which you're not sure what she's supposed to do. She's taken one of the cages, which has like a little a parrot in it, and she's like waiting for the woman.
I'm going to lean down and look at the bird. And egg birds.
It's one of those big old like bright red parrots that has like the blue feathers towards the tips. Very beautiful bird.
Very, very good choice.
Very
pretty.
elegant.
Hello.
We have a live Seth.
Oh, hey, dude.
I ate very, very well.
Oh, damn.
Panda Express is so tasty.
Ooh, good stuff.
Never had it.
All right, so Seth, just to fill you in, we're doing a lot of flipping between characters here, and you're in a pet shop. You were watching Julian, this sort of luscious, handsome boy, just like tossing around and like with some cats playing with them. And then you've seen a whole debacle of a cat that kind of got out of control that was running around. And then now
I need to
Julian
find
bought an
where
owl.
my character is.
You're way like
There
if
I
you
am.
zoom way out, you're like down the right,
Yeah,
kind of.
there.
All right, you got it.
Color.
Dante.
Doing interior and exterior maps in Roll20 is always a hassle. But yeah, so you're in there.
It's amazing.
Red.
Very quick. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, in a parallel universe,
Yertle, you're inside.
Yeah, I was
Snip
actually
trims.
going to ask, like, how loud was that scream? Because we're, like, 2 doors away.
I was actually basically right next to it.
Gale definitely heard it. Gale, you
Yeah.
you heard the scream as you think a woman screams very, very loudly and starts howling inside the trim snips. I keep getting the words confused. Snip trims.
I'm just gonna casually poke my head in because I'm right here.
Alright, yeah, so you go inside. You just lean your head in the door at least.
Yeah, I'm just
sort of walk.
looking. I just want to walk through this chaos.
You sort of peek your head in, and you sort of go over to the map. You see that this woman is, like, so scared and terrified as she's holding a pair of, like, hair-cutting scissors. And there's this man sitting there on a table, like, crouched in, like, the fetal position, screaming, "Kill it! Kill it!"
As soon as I see, like, another person, I'm going to start scattering to them, but then transform back into normal and, like, run.
I'm gonna
Alright,
like,
I'm
Gale,
gonna punch
you
him
see
back.
this. You see this mouse sprint out of this table, and then all of a sudden, as it's running, it sort of like Animorph becomes this giant turtle.
it's just like that moment from Harry Potter where
And-
I realize how ridiculous this sounds, but I will instinctually try to punch you away.
Just elbow
So
drop the
this
turtle.
giant turtle sort of emerges out of this mouse and it runs towards you. Are you gonna make an attack against him?
This is a giant turtle out of
Coat
nowhere.
hanger.
Save me! That what?
He's screaming. He's screaming,
demons out
"Save
front."
me!"
Okay, then I will punt him. I will go to punt him, but I will just stand to the side and let him leave.
All right, you do a kick, but it sort of just gives Yertle leverage to like just move your leg away and just run past you.
Go. Jesus Christ.
The
So
man
what
at the
was
table
that
says. The man at the table says, "Oh my God, he's a turtle again!" And you see that the woman is just so confusingly standing there with the scissors. And then Yertle, do you run out of the store?
No, I'm going to stand at the door and just look at the man she's and be like, "You're a fucking demon worshiper, you're moving demons!
I'm just gonna silently leave this
You're not
chaos.
a good person."
Gale, do you want to like sneakily avoid? Do you want to avoid without being noticed, or are you just gonna walk out?
No. He's literally going to take out a piece of paper. Right? You're all insane. Hold it out as he walks backwards out of the door.
As you moonwalk.
Elaborate.
Dun, dun,
And
dun, dun.
I will let you get back to me after this shit is done.
Alright.
I just wanted to be there for that.
Yertle, what do you do now?
What? So you guys, what is this? What is this madness?
He says, You were a mouse, and now you're a turtle. What the hell are you?" And he
What
sort
are
of,
you?
he slowly crawls up the table. He says, "I am a fashion designer. I was going to fix your," and he like sort of squints and he goes, "Your look."
Oof.
My heart's good. My hair only gets in my way of my face. Nothing can be fixed unless.
You see that this man, he snaps his fingers, and all of a sudden your hair is combed.
What are you doing to me?
Triggered.
He says, "That's already miles better." And he says, if you don't turn into a mouse again, we can save you But if not, please.
We can save you.
I don't want to become like the people who have no faces out front.
He says, we're not gonna do anything to your face. I'm going to correct you. Please, just get on the podium and let me work or leave the shop.
How? What's? Is this like a? What is this? How can I be sure I can trust you?
He says, what are you talking about? And he's like stuttering, and you see the woman just go like, listen, Mr. Turtle, we're running a fashion shop. Just we can fix up your hair and your sort of attire. We can clean you up, make it look nice, for a small fee. But just if you want, we can set you up with a nice pair of clothes. You look like a well-to-do wizard. We could sort of make you right as rain if you sort of comply with us.
Okay, a trustworthy lady, but the man with the weird walk is not.
She says, just trust me. Just you'll be in here for like 5 minutes, and I promise you'll leave looking a lot better. She sort of tries to usher
What's
you.
the prize?
She says, we'll show you what you could be. We'll sort of do up some fashion. We'll put some clothes on you. We'll show you a mirror, and if you like what you see, then it's just 5 gold pieces, and you walk out of here a much more fashionable turtle.
Turtle.
Okay. Also, so you don't have to call me Turtle. My name's Yaddle.
She says, Yertle. Yes, you can come here, and I guarantee you will look fabulous when you walk out.
I will accept this bargain.
All right, so she sort of tries to lead you back up onto the like little pedestal.
I willingly stand on the pedestal now.
It's going to go one foot.
All right. So the man says, all right, Debbie, if we're going to do this, go get me a better hat. Now, what are we going to do about your shell? I don't know if we have robes that big. He's like sort of he snaps his fingers and a pink tape measure sort of appears out of nowhere and starts floating, and he's sort of like he's doing little waving motions with his pointer finger as the measurement thing starts like measuring all your different lengths across your body.
I'm keeping my hat on, you know that, right? It's my hat.
He snaps his fingers and your hat just sort of like falls off your head.
Ooh.
I'm going to spawn a fog cloud in the room. I'm pretty sure I prepared that spell. Never mind, this man gets to see today.
He's gonna vape up his store.
Death by vape.
All right, so Yertle, you see this woman come over with like this this lovely wizard hat. It's sort of this sort of like greenish lime eccentric color, and it's got this big feather that's yellow. And she sort of puts it on top of her head. And she sort of starts like, your hair has been combed, and she starts like styling it around you and like twisting it because you got kind of long hair, and so he's kind of like twirling it into like different all these sorts of things. And he says, all right, I can't really, putting clothes around your shell would kind of be a waste of time, but, and he snaps his fingers, and like this robe starts floating over to him, and it's a similarly colored green lime robe. And he says, we can do a little bit of this, and then the sleeves of the robe just sort of snip off, and then they magically levitate and they float onto your arms. So you've got like these sleeves that go on your arms that seem to be coming out of your shell. And you feel them sort of like just magically like hold in place, almost as like almost if they're stitched to your shell, but they're not like attaching. And he says that looks loads better. We can do the under, and then he snaps his fingers, and then a black pair of pants just appears on you. And he sort of says, "How do we like that?" And then he sort of like comes away, and then Debbie takes a step back, and then a mirror materializes in front of you. And you look like amazing. You've got like this big wizard hat. You got the sleeves, this full outfit. You've got this like lusciously braided black hair, sort of cascading down your turtle face. You didn't notice it happen, but you've got very small trace amounts of makeup on. like sort of make your face sort of stand out and like give your turtle complexion some like very nice luscious shades. You look great. You've never seen yourself in this light. Like you've never seen a mirror this nice to look yourself in, and you've also never seen like your reflection ever this like profound. The woman says, how do you like that? Does it fit your style? Anything are you looking for? Any modifications?
Well, my style really was just like my pants and my hat, so don't really have whatever style is. Does look nice, but I want my old hat.
He says, all right, fine. And he snaps his fingers, and then the hat the hat that's on your head now just sort of goes into Debbie's hands, and she sort of like awkwardly steps back. And then your old hat just sort of levitates back onto your head. It was just on the floor. And he says, but we're going to fix it. And he takes the feather from the wizard hat, puts it inside your hat, and then sort of starts like brushing up like the thistles of the straw, and it looks just like a little bit less like disheveled and a little bit more cleaner. And he says, okay, the band is horrible for your color scheme, but if you really, really want it, then I'm not going to stop you. But it will be 5 gold for the rest of the sort of placements we put upon you.
Deal.
All right, so you pass over 5 gold, and then for the rest of the day, Yurdle now has advantage on charisma checks.
Hey.
All right. Meanwhile, Alesia, you're still in the Pixie Pub, and Trafford has finally prepared your raspberry tea, and he sort of puts it on the counter next to where Percy was dealing with his drinks.
Can I have a to-go cup, please?
He kind of looks at you and says, like, you could have said that before I made the drink. I was standing there like making tea for like 5 minutes. He's like,
So salty.
You watched me pour it into the mug, did you not? Oh my gosh! And he sort of goes back. He pulls out like a little like styrofoam like coffee cup, and he sort of pours into that. And he says, "All right, here you go. Now I get to wash this mug." And he puts it sort of with this other sort of dirty cups, and he sort of passes the styrofoam cup to you. It's got the Pixie Pub logo, which is sort of this fairy sort of reading a book with like the lovely Pixie Pub script sort of scrawled across.
One more question. Sorry. Well, two if you don't mind. What the hell is this place?
This is the Pixie Pub. You walked in here. You read? Did you not read the sign? It's Pixie Pub.
I mean this general area. I mean.
He says, "What are you?" And he looks around. He says, "Oh, you're one of the academy students, aren't you?"
She's gonna look at Percy like with the sign of like "Help me." I don't know what to say. Does Percy know about this stuff?
He was with Leslie when she got the letter. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here.
But does like he knows like about the academy, like a lot about the academy. Very little.
Not a lot. He knows the academy exists, but he has no knowledge of what the hell is going on either.
Time to send my child there.
She looks back at Tafford really worried.
And he says, "Oh my God! Are none of you casters? Are none of you wizards?"
First of all, like I'm a little bit of one, though. All I got to show for my abilities is, come here, Cheerful, come on, and he'll pick Cheerful up in his little puppy model and hold him.
He says,
"Hold him in his arms."
Very, very impressive. But you didn't wait. So have you been here before? Have you been to the academy? Do you know?
First, he will look around a little awkwardly and just shake his head.
He says, "Okay. Oh my gosh. So you are not. Where are you from?"
Nova Scotia.
He says, "Okay, you're not there anymore."
Obviously.
He says, "Yeah. So this is like a cute little marketplace we have. It's for wizards only. Everyone here is a wizard. And it's called the Gold District. there's more town connected here, like where I live and all that. But this is the main place where all of you are going to be hanging out. You welcome to the Wizarding World, I guess. You're here now.
Well, at least I don't have to worry about my daughter losing her virginity here.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore that. I don't really know about that, but just listen. He says, okay, so your school trip is today. Basically, at the evening today, you're all gonna go to the train station. I presume you know how to read street signs, if they have those, out where you're from.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm some backcountry
Yurdle
buff.
so does not understand street signs.
I'm
Yeah, I
some
don't
back...
think it fucked.
He says, listen, you're going to go to the train station in the evening, and everything else will be explained. But for now, if you have... I don't know... it's been so long since I've been there. The shopping list is still a thing. You'll need all your things. He says, I think the school still has your suitcases full of all your clothes at the station ready for you. But you need to get a wand while you're here. I know that for sure. They haven't changed that. Robes, if you don't already have them, you'll get the school uniform when you're there. But if you want to sort of dress the part, you can do that here. Anything there's a lot of things you can buy if you want to sort of get prepped up. But just really for a fish out of water like you guys are, just go to the train station in the evening, or just whenever you guys are done here. Just your student or whatever. You two, and he sort of points to the Undell and Percy. He says, you two, the gate, you guys came in here, you walk back out of that, and you'll go back to your home. You'll go back to where you were when you initially came here. And your daughter will go to school on the train, of course. But don't have your daughter leave, because if your daughter leaves, she can't come back. Because you use the orb, right?
The little round bullet thing.
He says, yeah, that. You only get one of those. So if you leave by accident, you're stranded. You can't ever come back here.
We're just gonna turn around and look at it later. Well, I mean, at least I don't have to pay for you to go to Oxford now, or whatever fucking college you're going about. Was it Oxford? At least you're just gonna stare at him.
He says, the school's free of charge. It basically like more will be explained, but you don't have to pay anything. This is all provided. Your daughter's very special. I like to say, like, it's not much because I'm also a wizard, but congratulations. This must be quite an accomplishment for you. Probably the most interesting that's ever happened to you in your entire life. So yeah, welcome. I hope you have a good time. And I sort of just starts walking around and start doing other things.
Wait, no, what? At least he has another question.
He said, oh, yeah, sorry, you had two questions. What else? What do you want, dearie?
Well, you blew out my other question, but now another one's popped up. Do you guys sell dragons?
Just, I don't sell dragons. Dragons are kind of a...
Question avoided as fast as possible.
He says, listen, have you ever seen a dragon? Do you know what a dragon is?
I've seen them in books.
He says, you can't, you don't sell a dragon.
Like you own like a small one?
He says, I mean, there's such thing as a pseudo dragon. It's like a little hamster dragon, but that's not like.
Oh my!
You're not gonna be able to buy a dragon, little girl. That's like.
Can I? How much? Where can I get this pseudo dragon?
He says, pseudo dragons. They're not the most common thing. I mean, there's a place here, Magical Menagerie. I don't think they'll have one. They've had them in the past. I think that they don't have any right now. But I mean, you might come across one. I don't know. You're going to school. They have. I think that they're in the woods by school. They have like all sorts of crazy shit going on over there. So there might be a pseudo dragon in the woods. I don't know. But yeah, just I can't help you out. I'm not really into the dragon traffic or whatever you want to call it.
Lacey is gonna look at Percy. There's a bit of like daughter-father connection thing, and Percy just sighs.
He says, all right, and then he starts like stammering, and then you see that some ginger kid with really long, luscious hair sort of comes up from his table, and he sort of asks Trafford for another round, and the Trafford sort of scurries over to the soda and starts grabbing more. The kid sort of gives you like a sideways glance, sort of looking over at you, looking at your parents, and looking at the wolf. He's like taken aback by the wolf, but he thinks he's like giving you like a sideways glance, and he sort of walks over like around away from you to where he's getting the soda.
Elias is gonna pick up Tearful, carry him like a puppy out of pick him up from Percy's arms, and without saying anything, Percy knows what she's gonna do. Andelle probably does too. She's gonna go walk out and try and find this magic menagerie place.
All right, so you sort of waltz out. Percy and Andelle will just kind of chill there. They'll stay there probably. You see that they all kind of look at you as you walk past. Like they're still talking, but they're gonna give you like a glance, and you feel judged as you walk past them. And then as you walk past them, I want you to make a perception check.
They're fucking assholes. Punch them in the throat hole.
You hear them like. You basically don't hear anything as you walk past the door. Like they just kind of stop talking for a second, but then you walk out and you just can't hear anything else.
Oh hey, it's a place right next to it.